Hi, my name is Ariana Arshaga, your On the Spot show host today. And on today's show, we will be talking about topics surrounding the LGBTQ community through Chabot's very own members of the Gay Straight Alliance Club. Today, we have the pleasure to interview some of the most amazing people from the GSA Club, and we will be discussing topics such as events that they will be planning. So today, we have a wonderful guest, Javier. How are you doing today?
I'm really good.
So do you mind if I go ahead and start asking you some questions?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
All right, so for the first question we have is, what would you like to tell us about the GSA Club? Like, what do you guys do? What are the events you guys are planning? Stuff like that.
Well, it's basically a safe space for gay students to come and trans students to come. We also accept straight people too. It's just literally a place where you can hang out and feel safe. And like, we explore sexualities too. And like, we go to Pride, we go to Oakland Pride, SF. I was thinking about actually getting a trip out to LA for their Pride too.
Oh, nice.
We also do events on campus like National Coming Out Day, National Day of Silence. We accept like a bunch of students incoming from high school who don't literally have a space yet.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gay and you don't have friends, you can come and meet with us and we'll just take you in like that.
Oh, that's so nice. That's cool. So for you, how was your experience being in this club?
Well, in the beginning, when I was first coming here, I really didn't know what to expect, and that was just my first semester, but I grew to like it so much that this is like my 5th semester in the club.
Oh, nice. So you've been there for a while.
I've been here for a while.
Oh, nice. So what is something you believe is helpful in being in a group like the GSA?
Well, the group setting is actually really wonderful because like if you have LGBT related issues, you have people who are part of the community already there for you who might have already been through that. Like we've had a few members come out like in the middle of the semester and like that's always really hard. And then but they always had like the backup of like their peers and people in the club.
Oh, okay. Now let's check out an interview from a member of the GSA Club.
Hi, my name is Miriam. I'm 19. I'm in GSA.
So, what it's like to be in the GSA Club?
I think it's a cool place to make friends. It's a cool place for people to stop by, and it's like a safe space for people to come by and share stories or even just talk. We can learn a few things. We plan a lot of fun activities, and for me, like I like to come here to support other people, and if they want to stop by, or even the people that are here, like yeah, I made some friends here, so that's what GSA is for me.
Hi, I'm Gwendolyn and I'm in GSA. In the club, we talk about events, we plan events, and we have movie nights every once in a while.
I'm Michael Langdon. I'm an English instructor at Chabot and I am faculty advisor for GSA this semester. It's my first semester doing this. I'm filling in for a couple of my colleagues who are on leave this semester.
So, what it's like to support the GSA Club?
Well, LGBT youth are more at risk for violence, bullying, rejection from their families, suicide. So I think it's important that there be spaces like this that are safe for people to come and to get some support. And it's a fun group of people to hang out with. So I've been enjoying it.
One purpose of this episode is to encourage people who are being held back from being who they really are because they don't have the freedom to come out. Do you have a strong coming out story, and do you mind sharing it with us?
Well, I have one. I think the scariest time for me coming out was like to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I was like so nervous. I had all my stuff packed and we were getting ready to go camping, so it was kind of an excuse to have all of my stuff put away. And she was just sitting there in the kitchen going over like everything, and I was just sitting there looking at her and she's like, "Javier, what?" And I was like, "Mom." And then I told her I'm gay, and she kind of just looked at me and she said, "What?" And I told her again, "I'm gay." And then she kind of just looked away from me, and it was heartbreaking and like I was the most scared, and she didn't talk to me for almost that whole day. And for some reason, I still got in the car and I went camping with them, but during the whole car ride there, she was like crying. And pretty much the whole day went by, and like the campfire was lit. I was sitting with my cousins, and she pulls me aside and she says like, "Son, I love you, but I'm scared for you. And I'm not mad that you yourself are gay. I'm just scared for the way people might treat you because you're different." And in a way, like, it was one of the scariest moments in my life, but I'm glad that I did it. And I'm glad that even though her reaction at first wasn't necessarily good and it was frightening, that she said what she needed to say to me.
And what about like coming out to your friends and everything?
Oh, that was like high school, around sophomore, junior year. So of course, like a couple of my friends stopped talking to me, but most of them were like good, and they were very accepting. And like, I think one of like the friends that I had the most trouble with was like my best friend, and I thought he wouldn't accept me because in middle school, you know how everybody was like, fuck gay people.
Yeah.
But he came around, and we're good now. I was just hanging out with him yesterday.
That's good. Would you like to say something that will encourage or inspire other people who are struggling to come out?
Well, it's that whole feeling of, do you want to live and feel fake and like have to lie to yourself in front of people just to please what they want? Or do you want to just let it all go? Because at the point of holding it in, it just brings you down more and more and more. And like at a point, it's all you can think about. And just letting it out is like the scariest thing. But once you get over that, you feel like you can do almost anything. Like the worst thing that's ever happened to me was like losing friends and coming out. And in a way, it kind of made me into a stronger person. So just doing it itself will make you stronger.
Is that how you felt when you first came out?
Yeah, like I was so just depressed. Like on the outside, all my friends thought I was happy and everything was good. I had a couple girlfriends. Like, I mean, if I could have been straight, I would have done it. Like, and that would have just been it. But that wasn't the case. And that still isn't the case.
Well, thank you for being here today. Well, that is all the questions we have for you today. Thank you so much for being here and answering the questions for us. We will have a short break, then we will be right back with our second guest on the spot. One of the movements that the GSA accomplished in the campus is the opening of gender-neutral bathrooms in 2016 at Building 2300. Anyone may enter the restroom regardless of your gender, and no one is excluded. This opening of acceptance in the campus is such a symbolization of how everyone should be accepted, and no one should be excluded to access to equality. We are back now. Let's welcome our second fabulous guest, Valentino. Valentino, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
All right, and thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it.
No worries.
So for the first question that we have for you today is, can you tell us the experience of you being a GSA, being in the GSA club?
So this is actually my first semester in the club. Right away, I started to notice people were really friendly, and I wanted to make sure that we are doing activities that are going to help other people. So I know the first meetings were sort of like, we're going to have movie nights, we're going to have this going on, this event, but at the beginning it was sort of just all talk, and there wasn't really much happening. So then we just started to become a team, and then now things are happening, so it's becoming an experience.
Do you guys have any upcoming events that are coming up?
We do. So we are planning for the 420. It's April 20th. It's called Day of Silence, and so some people know it. It's a day when we recognize the people who cannot come out. So that day, there's a tradition that some of the gay members or queer members or anybody who is supportive of LGBT community, they will silence themselves for the day, and just to pay that respect to people who cannot come out in regards to their religion or family values or work. So that's coming up, and so what's going to happen that day is we're still working on what's happening, but we are working on a board where people can anonymously post something, and they can come out if they want to come out, or just express support, or they can express love or anything they want. So that's coming up. That will be on campus, and we will also have an open mic. So that day we will be out in the Caesars Plaza, and we're inviting people to come over and express their support or come out if they want to come out, and it's just a brief time. And that night we will break silence we're still working on that part, but we have something going on that evening also.
Oh, nice. That sounds fun. Would you like to share your coming out story?
Yeah, so I actually don't have a coming out story. When people ask me, I just always tell them my mom always knew that, and so I never had to come out, which was, I guess I'm lucky, because a lot of people go through it a lot when they do have to do that, and it was not the case for me. So I completely support LGBT community by joining the clubs that are present in school. I know there are a lot of people who want to, and they can't because they're ashamed, or maybe they can't, they have some complications. So I just grew up into a family where everybody was accepting of whatever it was. Yes.
Nice. Well, that's nice to hear. And so how is it having a parent who, I guess, knew who you were, and would you say that it is a privilege to be acceptable by your parent without having to come out?
Yes. That is why I'm the kind of person I am, very friendly to people and welcoming to everybody, because that's the way my parents showed me. So I'm the same way to everybody, regardless. I don't ask their sexuality first. I just accept them. If they want to come out later, then that's up to them. So I'm definitely privileged to have that. And at the same time, I kind of would have wanted to experience what it was like if I were to have to come out to my mom. But I guess I'll never know.
And what about like coming out to like friends and everything? Were they also the same way?
No. So for friends, I guess some people I just had to tell. But it was kind of, I was just open to everybody. So yeah, it wasn't like I was closeted at any point. I was always out. I was never really closeted. So I don't really know how it's like to have to conceal my identity.
See, what inequality that the LGBT experience you would like to talk about that you think the LGBTQ rights movement should focus on?
I think, well, there are a lot of things that we can focus on. I think at the moment is just keep focusing on the support that everybody should share as for the LGBT community. So, meaning, just keep your hearts open. Doesn't matter if you don't understand what a gay person is, or a queer or transgender person is. I think that you should just keep your heart open, your mind open, and not judge before you don't know. Yeah.
It's definitely about keeping it open.
Keep an open mind, yeah, so that the club is very open. Anybody can come. It's not just gay or queer or transgender. It's anybody's club. So we accept everybody. It's just an open club. It's an open space.
It's very welcoming.
Very welcome. Very welcome.
So my final question for you is, why do you think people should join the GSA Club?
For the same reason. To make friends, to get to know, to educate yourselves, to just have fun. I mean, if you're looking for something to do, friends or social circle, you could come see us.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Now let's ask a member why people should join GSA.
Hey, my name's Cleo. I'm 19 years old. Well, there's a lot of reasons why people should join this club, but one that I think is really important is for people to have equal understanding of each other. There's a lot of misconceptions between, like the LGBT community and the straight community, I guess, that people see as like a divide between each other, but there's not really a difference between LGBT and straight people. So I just think this is a place for people to understand each other, a little bit better.
Well, again, thank you so much for your time, Valentino. We genuinely appreciate your time being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. On National Coming Out Day, GSA members also get active around the campus, providing other students with the information about the issues that the LGBT faces. Students who are willing to support the LGBTQ community participates on National Day of Silence that protests against the bullying of LGBT students. The mission of this episode is to provide support and acceptance to everyone, especially people in the LGBTQ community. Chabot's GSA provides an open community that allows all types of people to feel like they have a place they can belong to. GSA meets Tuesday and Thursdays around 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. at room 1613. Since the LGBTQ community faces so much inequality, we need people to have more knowledge that these groups of people are still people, and we need to stand up for them to help fight equality. To close out the show, here we have our final guest, Manpreet. Manpreet, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Do you mind if I go ahead and start asking you guys some questions?
Go ahead.
So my first question I have for you today is, how was your experience being in GSA Club?
Man, it's been a long and amazing experience. I've been in GSA since 2012.
Oh, nice.
So that's almost 5 years, give or take. But I came into GSA as a woman. And at the time, I identified as a lesbian. But through GSA, going through GSA, I learned so much about myself. And I'm leaving GSA as a man. So it's been an amazing experience altogether.
Nice. How helpful being in GSA as a college student can be for you?
Honestly, without GSA, I don't think I would even know who I am. There was so much I learned in GSA alone. The first semester, we interviewed so many transgender people. I didn't even know that transgender people existed. And this is a queer person living in the most diverse areas in the United States of America. And I didn't even know what a transgender person is. So right then and there, just the education that I received from this club, wow. You know what I mean? It changed my life, and I'm very grateful for that.
And you can definitely say, I guess it helped you?
Definitely.
What is one thing you like about GSA?
The people. They're so accepting. You can literally walk in and you can burst into tears or you can crack a joke, and either or you'll still be greeted. There is no in-between with how they greet you. The environment itself, whether you're an ally or a queer person, you still feel like you fit in. So they never really make you feel like you're an outsider. They make you feel so included.
Right. That's really nice. Especially the other guests as well. They expressed how open the club is, and it's nice to see that there's a space where you guys can feel like you guys can be yourself, I guess.
Exactly.
Now let's ask a GSA member what they like about being in the club.
Hi, I'm Armaine Dizon, and I'm a sophomore here at Chabot College.
How much did you like being in here?
I mean, one thing I like is how it provides a support system for LGBTQ students, because I think that LGBTQ topics are sometimes, some professors or some people are hesitant to bring up such subjects in certain public areas. And so I think GSA is a great place for individuals to discuss either personal or general topics on sometimes issues that people aren't so comfortable talking about in a general area.
Another topic that would be so important to discuss is Trump's new policy that is attacking the basic human rights of transgender students. So how do you feel about the choice of bathroom being taken away from you?
It's just another way of the government saying, yo, as much as we love you queer people, we hate you. We don't accept you completely. What I think that Trump is trying to do by passing this law is he's trying to divide us. Like, since day one, a lot of people have tried to take T out of LGBT. And I think this is just another way for him to do it by criminalizing transgender people specifically. Like, why would you criminalize a group of people and accuse them of being sexual predators when all they're doing is expressing their gender identities? It doesn't make sense. When do gender identities correlate with being a sexual predator? You know what I mean? It just, there's no logical explanation for why he would ever want, like, why he would pass that. It's just hate. That's all it is.
And you're just like, literally, you need to use the bathroom.
Literally, that's it. I just want to pee, man. Like, pee in peace. Like,
right, exactly. So what is your message or advice for the transgender students going through this attack?
Don't lose hope. Like I said, this is just another way for them to divide us. And the best way to get back at this is to organize. To peacefully protest outside of City Hall in states that have that law. And I think to push for more education reform in the transgender area overall, because I feel like even transgender people are not as educated as they can be because there is such a lack of resources for us, you know what I mean?
Right.
So honestly, it starts out with 1, organizing, 2, educating, and 3, going forward with whatever plans that we have, if that makes sense, because we can say, yo, let's go protest right now, but the act of us doing it is more powerful than the act of us saying it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think the biggest problem is we don't put our faces out there as much as we should. And I can't blame other trans people for that, because when I was visibly transgender, I was so discriminated against. And it's crazy how that even exists in California. You know what I mean? For me to be discriminated against in NorCal and SoCal, because I lived in LA for a good minute. So I don't know, it just there's so much we can do, but it starts off with the basics: organizing and education.
Right. Actions speak louder than words.
Exactly.
So that's all the questions I have for you today. Thank you so much for sharing your opinion. This topic is really just something that is needed to be brought up because people need to be aware about this issue, about an executive order that is attacking the safety of transgender students, and it isn't really making anything great, you know? But thank you so much for all of today's guests and members of GSA Club for participating and making this episode happen. We appreciated everyone sharing their knowledge on topics that are very important to discuss, because it can be a way of empowering and uniting together to fight the equality we deserve and worth fighting for.